Social media has a way of getting on our nerves. It gives a little something more each day to die for. A girl as perfect as Delilah would be the death of others her age. Her beauty was not contagious, but luckily she was the sweetest. Hence, no one ever complained about the way she styled her school uniform most fashionably. She cut the long sleeves and wore the scraps of cloth as a leg warmer. She did the same with her skirt, which she trimmed to have a matching headband. The 16-year-old also paired their supposedly dull outfit with expensive brand pieces. For the way Delilah stood out in the crowd, she rose to further prominence while her best friend, Olivia, looked more and more as her helper. Poor soul, Olivia could use something to at least make her seem trends. Many had long admired her financial capacity, although it was a tad surprising to them because she lived alone after her mother's suicide. She did not want to talk about anything related to her wealth as well. Only Olivia knew of the inheritance she got from the tragic event and how her daddy cheated, which earned her the right to his credit card. Does your dad really allow you to buy these clothes? I don't see the use of having way too many, Olivia retorted after seeing the sister calmly. Please, do not touch these if your hands are dirty. You know I can't do the laundry well, replied Delilah, arranging the bags and bringing them into her room. Olivia thought hard to weave a worthy reply for her best friend, but she received a notification from the news. The article read, "Brown is the new black, on neutral colors as the most colorful hues." She knew that Delilah would know immediately about it, so she chose to keep hushed. True enough, Delilah wore an oversized brown patchwork hoodie the next day. Great! Another day of looking like trash beside this girl, Olivia whispered to herself while watching Delilah sashay towards her. She immediately smiled when Delilah touched her anyway, scared that her growing fandom would ruin anyone disrespectful to their icon. Hey, Liv, have you heard? Delilah asked in a worried tone. Heard what? Olivia quickly responded with utmost confusion painted on her face. Janine, Christy, and Liam, they're all missing. You know what? Reports say that the two went out shopping yesterday in the same mall I was in. Liv, I can't die. I'm just so lucky they did. Well, glad you're safe then, Olivia sarcastically replied to help her friend understand what kind of negativity and insensitivity came out of her gloss-stained mouth. Oh, I know, right? Delilah mentioned and walked off to the class president, who happened to be her boyfriend as well. Olivia sighed and went away. That guy, that used to be her man, her great love, which she had given up to make Delilah the happiest after the suicide incident. Well, Delilah liked Ethan longer anyway. Days passed by, and Delilah continued rising into prominence while leaving Olivia behind. Surprisingly, and although she was always busy posting for her social media feeds, Delilah had never given up the spot for the most honorable student at school. If Olivia would have anything to be proud of, it would be her wits. Unfortunately, Delilah stole it from her. It took a great toll on Olivia's mental health, which Delilah failed to notice amid her business. One day, Olivia was found hanging off the ceiling in the ladies' room, a bloody letter in her hand. She was all that I wanted to be and more. Delilah had the world wrapped around her fingers. She could get anything that she desired. Kept up with the trends and bought the latest luxury pieces without bounds. Though she was a perfect best friend to me, my jealousy took the best of me eventually. Every ounce of my vitality drips like heavy rain down into the drain, drowning my dreams. By the time you read this, I would have been dead. For now, I would like to apologize for being such an abominable disappointment. Delilah, I promise you, you had done nothing wrong. Delilah sipped from her strawberry milkshake while reading the letter and sat down to closely examine the body in front of her. She realized that there would have to be some adjustments if she wanted people to believe that Olivia committed suicide. Well, you heard it right. She killed the poor girl. For in truth, Delilah had not a single penny to her name. What she had was a filthy obsession for praises that fed her social identity. Just so she could show off a new item, she used people, not in the way that she manipulated them, no. Yesterday, she heard about the increasing love for crimson dresses, a mark of sophistication that apparently brought the present to an era of early Hollywood. There would be a party later that night, and she would not have anything to wear that would make her stand out. Well, thankfully, Olivia's blood was a perfect color. Mixing it with some chemicals, Delilah found the perfect concoction to achieve the red richness of the dress that her favorite artist had worn in an award show. While she cried in front of the school about how sorry she was for Olivia's suicide, blaming herself for it, Delilah was perfectly happy inside, perhaps even jumping with joy as she imagined the praises she would hear. She laughed hysterically as she took her mother's wedding dress and splashed blood over it like there would be no tomorrow. Staring in front of the mirror, Delilah could not help but gush at herself. Oh, you look so perfect, Delilah. You're gorgeous. You're beautiful. No one would ever be as great as you. Delilah continued to gleefully sing till she was interrupted by a loud shriek. It looked like her subjects were finally awake. The girl in a crimson dress walked to her bedroom to check on her friends Janine, Christy, and Liam, who she had beautifully skinned to have the perfect shades of brown. The three had just realized what the huge patchwork blanket in front of them was made of. They cried as they looked at their flesh.